In the sleepy village of Eldermere, nestled in the English countryside, stood a grand yet decaying mansion known as Elmwood Manor. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about its past, filled with whispers of a ghostly presence that had haunted the manor for centuries. It was said that the spirit of a young girl, Emily Whittaker, wandered the halls, eternally seeking something she had lost in life. The story began in the late 1800s, when the Whittaker family, wealthy merchants, had owned the manor. Emily, their only child, was a delicate and quiet girl with a passion for music. She would often sit at the grand piano in the drawing room, her fingers dancing across the keys as she played haunting melodies. But tragedy struck when, one stormy night, Emily disappeared without a trace. The family searched desperately, but all that was found was her favorite doll, abandoned in the attic. The grief-stricken Whittakers eventually left the manor, and it remained uninhabited, shrouded in mystery and sorrow. Decades later, in the 1920s, the manor was purchased by the Hargrove family. They planned to restore it to its former glory, but their excitement quickly turned to dread. The youngest daughter, Clara, a bright and curious girl of 10, began to speak of a new friend she had met in the house. She described a girl her age, with pale skin and long, dark hair, wearing an old-fashioned white dress. At first, her parents dismissed these tales as an imaginary friend, a product of their daughter's vivid imagination. However, it wasn't long before Clara's friend started to manifest in more unsettling ways. The sound of a piano playing softly in the middle of the night would awaken the household, despite the instrument being locked. Clara would often be found conversing in empty rooms, giggling and whispering as if someone was with her. One evening, as Clara's mother, Margaret, was tucking her in, the little girl asked, "Why does Emily cry at night, Mama?" The question chilled Margaret, for she had never mentioned the manor's history to Clara. Disturbed, the Hargroves sought answers from the village's oldest resident, Mrs. Abernathy, who had lived through the events surrounding the manor. Mrs. Abernathy told them the tragic tale of Emily Whittaker's disappearance and the rumor that her spirit still lingered, searching for her beloved doll. According to the legend, Emily had been heartbroken when her parents had forbidden her from keeping a stray cat she had befriended. The cat had disappeared, and shortly after, so did Emily, leading to speculation that she had gone in search of it. The Hargroves were skeptical but couldn't deny the strange occurrences. They decided to search the attic, where they found Emily's doll, dusty and forgotten. Clara, seeing the doll, exclaimed, "That's Emily's doll. She told me about it." Her parents were stunned, as Clara could not have known the doll's existence. Despite their growing unease, they decided to leave the doll undisturbed. One stormy night, much like the night of Emily's disappearance, Clara awoke with a start. She felt an inexplicable pull towards the attic. Barefoot and silent, she crept through the darkened halls, the air heavy with anticipation. As she reached the attic door, it creaked open, seemingly of its own accord. Inside, the air was cold, and a faint glow illuminated the room. There, in the corner, stood Emily, her ghostly form translucent but unmistakable. She gazed at Clara with sad, hollow eyes, holding the doll close to her chest. Clara felt no fear, only an overwhelming sense of compassion. She approached the spirit, her small hand reaching out. Emily's cold fingers brushed against Clara's, and for a moment, the room was filled with a soft, otherworldly light. Clara spoke softly, "I'm here to help you, Emily." The ghost's eyes filled with tears, and she whispered, "I can't find my way home." As the words left Emily's lips, the room began to shake. The wind howled through the manor, and the lights flickered. Clara's parents, awakened by the commotion, rushed to the attic. They found their daughter standing alone, the ghostly figure of Emily fading into the darkness. Clara turned to them, holding the doll, and said, "Emily wanted to say goodbye." From that night on, the hauntings ceased. The manor felt lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted. Clara seemed to have matured overnight, carrying a quiet understanding of what had transpired. The family decided to leave Elmwood Manor, believing it was time for the house and Emily's spirit to rest. As they packed their belongings, Margaret found an old journal hidden in a drawer. It belonged to Emily and detailed her days at the manor. The last entry, dated the night she disappeared, spoke of her sadness over the lost cat and her intention to find it, hoping it would bring her joy once more. Margaret realized that Emily's spirit had been trapped by her sorrow and that Clara's compassion had finally set her free. Years passed, and Elmwood Manor fell into disrepair once more. But the villagers no longer spoke of it with fear. Instead, they told the tale of a little girl who, with her kindness, helped a lost soul find peace. Clara Hargrove grew up, but she never forgot her encounter with Emily. She often wondered if the ghost had finally found her way home or if she still wandered, her sadness lifted, her spirit at rest. And so, the story of Elmwood Manor and its ghostly inhabitant became a part of Eldermere's history, a reminder of the power of empathy and the mysteries that linger in the shadows of old houses. The manor stood as a silent testament to the past, its windows dark, its halls quiet, and somewhere, perhaps, the faint echo of a piano's mournful tune. This story combines elements of history, mystery, and the supernatural, weaving a tale of empathy and closure. I hope you enjoyed it.